Let's start. We'll begin with retention.
We have a long history with retention.
Main thing is long retention, right?
Around 30-35 with quality. Well, around 30-32.
You said that a banner is bad. What do you mean? Is it considered bad form?
I didn't say that a banner is bad. I said that the banner simply won't generate enough revenue per user for you. And this is just part of monetization, that it will be a small percentage of additional monetization of the user through the banner.
Hello friends, today we are discussing a cool game from Booblyc Studio. It's a great, very dynamic shooter. The first thing I want to ask the guys is, where did the idea to create such a game come from?
Well, it's every developer's dream. In general, it's a programmer's dream to create a game. A programmer who makes games must create their own Crimson Land. Is this on your checklist? I certainly have it on mine. And secondly, it's to create a GTA killer. That's probably our next project.
Yes, the English call it a bucket list. These are the things you must do before you die. Well, I mean before death.
Maybe. And the first game must definitely be Tower of Difference, or an MMORPG. But we skipped that stage. We immediately moved on to the second stage.
I'm at this stage. My colleague Yevgeny and I are currently working on a tower defense game alongside our main business.
Cool.
Yes, it's a lot and it's complicated. I like the game and I understand that I'm not the only one who liked it. The first thing we traditionally do is talk about its ASO, App Store Optimization component.
Let's take a look right away. I really enjoyed this video. No questions about the title at all. Zombie, war, last hero, all the necessary keywords are in the title. Everything is clear within 30 characters. The screenshots are interesting. Everything is very, very good. There are focal captions, all in the same theme. They give an understanding of what it's about. I have no comments. I like it. Now about the rating. 3 5s. In general, you came to listen about ASO just to collect awards. Everything is great. Bye. From what I see, no comments. Let's move on to check for keyword stuffing. If I'm not mistaken, there isn't any. Yes, there is no keyword stuffing. The necessary keywords are written, they form specific phrases. If needed, we can increase the description. I have a comment. The description is small, it can actually be increased, at least to 3,500 characters, because you have a lot of search queries. Everything related to shooting, zombies, shooters, and everything connected with it, there is a large pool of keywords, especially on Android, so you can work on it and make everything great. Everything is super good with Android. I just thought you had the same description for both platforms. And here everything is clearly written, no comments, no keyword stuffing, the necessary search queries are in the text. With the required frequency, mentioning them as needed, they form different phrases, both long and short keywords. No comments. There is a problem that they are not indexed. They are not indexed for several reasons, either because you have very little search traffic or because you generally have little traffic from the USA. What are your current volumes approximately of installations in the USA for Android?
Company or organic?
If you are using non-incentivized traffic, like Google Ads, it can also be considered because it affects ranking. So, how many downloads per day do you have in the USA?
Oh no, we pour in batches. There was no organic traffic. About 10 people a day look at it, and that's all.
If the person is not from the USA, it's all worldwide, as I understand.
Yes. Our organic traffic was hanging for a while when we first set it to worldwide, and it ended after a month.
It's a boost from the market, probably, and then...
Yes.
The point is, there are no comments on ASO for Android. Everything is great, you just need traffic. Once you get traffic, your positions will start to appear and grow. If needed, you can artificially boost a specific search query and get organic traffic directly from Google Play. Regarding iOS, there is no traffic because there is no indexing anywhere. Specifically for iOS, I have a comment about the title. It is not fully filled out, it needs to be updated. You have 30 available characters, and in your case, I would recommend filling all of them. Right now, you only have the name ZombTube, and that's it. The main search queries are not included here. This is a mistake, it needs to be corrected. Zombie shooter and survive RPG, there are basically no comments here. Just slightly change the words so that the title is 30 characters and the subtitle is 30. That is, to use them to the maximum for good indexing. Because in iOS the text is not ranked. It doesn't matter what the text will be. We care about titles, subtitles, keywords, related locale. Therefore, if you plan to further develop the project, attract traffic, whether incentivized or not, and get organic search traffic, you need to work on this now because it will benefit you greatly later. Regarding keywords, I don't have them, but I think everything is written correctly. Based on, did the same person do ASO for both platforms? Yes. Give these comments because you need to correct the title and subtitle, but thinking about the keywords, he wrote everything correctly, and the keywords do not repeat.
Maybe.
Regarding the rating, let's take a look right away.
Yes, and see, there's no organic traffic at all. 4 people a day, 2 from search queries, 4 from recommendations in Google Play.
There are no search queries because what's the principle? You have ASO optimization, which is the foundation. After you do ASO optimization, you release the app and attract traffic. It doesn't matter what kind, the more the better. The more traffic, the better the positions, the more search queries are ranked, and everything is great. So, your ASO is good, at least on Android, but on iOS it really needs to be changed. There are errors now. But because there is no traffic, you have no positions and won't have organic search traffic. The rating on iOS is good, 4.8. But on iOS you can't understand how many downloads the app has, unlike on Android. You go in and it shows 10 plus or 1 million plus downloads and so on. This is one of the factors that directly affects conversion. And because iOS doesn't have this, they will rely on ratings. So you need to work on the ratings, and when you start buying traffic, simultaneously launch orders for ratings. This will increase the number of ratings. And regarding the visual part, the icon is great. I would install such an app myself with this icon. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
How do you feel about incentivized traffic?
I've been doing this for 8 years. The main difference in incentivized traffic is whether you buy real traffic or bot traffic. I don't use bot traffic and I have a very negative opinion about it. Frankly, negative. I work with real traffic. AdWords Mobile deals exclusively with real traffic. We don't have bots, emulators, or any other fraud. All installations are done by regular real users, and this is the safest incentivized traffic.
Well, if there is organic or some other traffic in parallel, then yes, it's safe.
Even if there is no organic traffic, we very often take on new projects just after release, and on the second or third day, we launch incentivized traffic. Because firstly, you get a boost from the market, and when you simultaneously start pouring in incentivized traffic, you can quickly boost everything. In a week or two, you can rank for 70-80% of the entire pool of keywords. So, after that, you choose specific search queries and push them to the top. Accordingly, it's much easier to promote even a new app that has no traffic at all. If it's an app that's been in the market for a long time, has no traffic, and has lost keywords because of no traffic, it will be harder to work with than a new app, for example.
I'm just getting to the point where I don't recommend pouring in incentivized traffic more than 30-40% of organic traffic.
Look, as I said, it depends on the volumes we're talking about. If it's a new app, 30-40% won't get you anything.
From zero, understand.
If we're talking about a new app, everything should be logical and sequential and within reason. So when you come with a project and say, guys, I have no traffic, but I want to get traffic, we gather search queries for you, choose the most effective and targeted ones. After that, we make a plan. It won't be 0 installs today and 1,000 tomorrow. You will reach that 1,000 in 5-10 days, depending on the budget, depending on the search queries. So everything goes very gradually. I am categorically against such sharp jumps, because there are such clients and such requests too, like a zero-app VPN. Make my VPN top. And to get a VPN to the top, you need 5,000 installs. Well, it should be within reason. And it always depends on the app itself, on the project itself. So, if there is an opportunity, if there is time, we are not in a hurry, there's no need to rush. We create a logical structure, a plan, and follow it, moving forward and bringing the app to the top.
In my mind, this app without normal traffic, not incentivized, will struggle. If there is traffic, it will be very good for this app. For this type of app, it definitely needs a lot of normal traffic.
Finally, I just want to say that because this is a game app, the competition is very high, especially with zombies. Zombies are like match 3 games, very difficult. So, if you start buying non-incentivized traffic and Google Ads in parallel, it doesn't matter. Good traffic, then incentivized traffic will only be a plus for you. Because in principle, the weight of the app will become much greater, and it will be much easier to promote keywords than if you just start buying incentivized traffic from me now. Or if you start buying incentivized traffic for the same keywords but simultaneously pouring in Facebook or Google Ads, then it will be easier to promote them. Now I hand it over to Zoriana.
I can't disagree with you. The image is really juicy. And I have a question right away. Did you draw it yourself or did you use some AI like Midjourney?
Yes, we combined, used a neural network, and naturally finished it ourselves.
Cool, it turned out well. Please tell us about the game itself, about the metrics. What is your playtime, retention, LTV per user?
I can't say the LTV, I just don't know it.
Let's start with the simplest. Let's begin with retention.
We have a long history with retention.
The main thing is that retention should be long, right?
Around 30, 35, 25, and so on. It fluctuates, well, around 30, 32. Day one and...
This is on organic, if I understand correctly. Or is it Google Ads plus organic?
It differs. Well, yes, it's organic. Purchases behave approximately the same way.
Sorry, what behaves the same?
Purchases. Oh, users pay.
Okay. And if we shift the windows a bit, what about the 7th day, 14th, 30th? Is there any activity?
Somewhere around 8 to 12, depending on the target audience. And then it almost levels off and stays there. People drop off at the first 10 levels, which is about half an hour, probably 30 minutes of gameplay, and then... You say the game has purchases in both the Android and iOS versions, and if we separate ads and purchases, we mainly worked on Android, tested everything on it. It has a very easy integration with Google, very convenient to buy an AdMob, connect a Google account, Firebase, and all this together immediately shows what you have for iOS in terms of monetization. What percentage is in-app purchases and how much is ads? It depends a lot on the target audience. It depends a lot. If it's on purchases, about 40% are purchases and the main part is ads. And if you buy whatever, then less than 10% are purchases.
Let's break it down a bit so our viewers understand what we're talking about. You probably mean that if you buy users in Google Ads who are optimized for purchases and purchase campaigns, then the percentage of paying users will be higher and the rest is additional ad monetization. If you buy regular CPI campaigns or, I don't know, have you tried buying on ad ROAS, then there will be more ad monetization rather than in-app purchases.
No, we haven't tried buying on ad ROAS.
What I see is a day one retention of 31% and an average engagement per user of 1 hour and 40 minutes. These are quite decent metrics.
Yes, we just need to understand how many ads a user sees in that 1 hour and 40 minutes per session.
About 7.
Is this including interstitial ads and rewards?
No, interstitials are for those who love money a lot, but we love making games. The difference is small, but it's there. We have a banner. The banner is powerful.
I disagree, but okay.
Okay. No, interstitials contradict our user policy.
So, conditionally segmenting and understanding that a person doesn't want to buy anything in the first few days?
Yes, we can do that. I understand that if a person doesn't pay on the first day, then the probability of them paying later is significantly lower. And if they don't pay on the third day, then they probably won't pay at all. Still, it contradicts our policy. Well, I'm talking about games. Have you played mobile games? How about it? Is turning off the internet a good idea?
Great. I practice it with my kids very often.
Exactly. And I behave similarly. I think our players are just regular people too. And we want them to watch rewards and buy something occasionally.
Then there are two options. Either just improve the metrics and live on organic traffic and the current volumes, or if we talk about paid traffic, it should pay off. Or do you just want to make a game by users so they have fun playing without it paying off? This is a great case, my favorite. I can spend as much budget as you have many times over. If there is no CPI, you don't need to make LTV greater than CPI. But the opposite, there are no problems with that.
Maybe one day we will despair and turn on this checkbox in our settings, but for now, everything is fine without it.
Okay. I understand you have already bought traffic on Facebook and Google. Were there any other traffic sources where you tried to attract users?
I don't know, honestly. I personally tried buying them on Google and Facebook, but it wasn't just me doing it. and I don't know the latest data from these sources. Apparently, they don't pay off very well.
I agree and believe that because for traffic to pay off, you need properly structured monetization. If you have a goal for purchases, they should convert accordingly, and the percentage of paying users in the game should be appropriate. And additional monetization through ads, unfortunately, the checkbox for additional ad monetization must be enabled for the traffic to pay off. If it's not enabled, you need to come up with other ways to make the user pay off. So from my side, I can say that the recommendations for traffic to naturally pay off are correct. Approximately 6 to 7 interstitial ads with rewards per session per user. And you need to calculate the purchase percentage because it's also difficult for me to evaluate. I don't know what your conversion rate of paying users is and how often they make repeat purchases.
I want to clarify. When we talk about 6 to 7 video interstitial ads with rewards, we are talking about hyper-casual projects with ad monetization. Here we see a slightly different endgame.
So you imagine that the user comes in and plays for a long time, having one long session. For example, if the session is 15-20 minutes, I didn't mean that it should be in a 3-minute session, but in a 15-minute session. You can distribute the ads smoothly and evenly across levels, not showing them every 30 seconds, but every 3 to 4 minutes.
Yes, but you need to look at the curve. And in principle, this game calls for 40-50% in-app purchases. There can be a lot of purchases. And if we are talking about many purchases, it means we shouldn't ruin the first and second day with ads.
Ads in general, I think, should start about a minute after the user starts playing.
Yes. Give the person half an hour to get into it and understand that they like it. Let's move on. What about the competitors? In the meantime, let's remind everyone that we can review all this thanks to AppMagic. You can find the link for a free 3-day trial from AppMagic under the description of our video.
With AppMagic, we can look at competitors, the first ones you mentioned from Alder Games. What we see here in terms of traffic, where their downloads come from. This doesn't mean that all the traffic is paid. It's Russia, a bit of Vietnam, Poland, Egypt. Even tier 3 countries, I would say. And if we look at the creatives, as you can see, they are not buying traffic. The second one is Fun Formula. It will be roughly the same situation here because I looked, but I have a very interesting question. Where did they get so much traffic from India in the last 30 days? But here we already have the USA. If we look at the game overall throughout its life, the USA still occupies a larger percentage. These guys are buying traffic. They mainly buy on Google, there's YouTube, here's its placement. It's doing well, it's on Facebook, and a significant part is on Aploven. Most likely on Aploven, I think they have blended campaigns running. This means that the ad campaign is optimized for revenue from purchases and ads. There is an opportunity to buy traffic there, so let's look at the top videos they have. Interestingly, if I just scroll through all the videos, I found only one playable. And even that is not in the top videos because, again, they are buying on Google. 40-second gameplay videos without any captions, inserts, or UGC.
How do you feel about misleading ads?
I personally don't feel very good about it because these creatives may perform well initially, but if we look at deeper metrics like LTV and ROAS, we'll see a high user drop-off with such creatives, leading to poor metrics. Given that there will be very high IPM and CTR, if we delve into deeper metrics, we are not interested in users just watching, having a great CTR, everyone clicking on this creative, everyone installing it, and then after 5 to 10 minutes, Without even playing, the user sees that the game is not what they expected, leading to a high user drop-off. When we take deep analytics and look at the retention and growth of such creatives, the metrics will be very poor.
Yes, it's important to say that in such cases, you need to look at the behavioral metrics of the purchased cohort. Because if you bought 20% of such users and you bought them very cheaply, the entire purchase in the conditional integral will look more or less normal. But if you divide this matter specifically by cohorts, you will encounter some unpleasant surprises.
Absolutely right. Sometimes you can combine creatives. If this is a slightly misleading creative, or if you have an additional level in the game or a bonus level in the game, and it will be conditionally not quite a misleading creative, you will add it somewhere even at a deep level as an additional bonus level, and it will be shown in the game. The user might transition. Here, I also want to pause for a minute on this case and look at where exactly the impressions by creatives came from. These are also Tier 3 countries. In such games, I often see Japan, Hong Kong, and sometimes Korea. And here it is also visible that in Hong Kong, 10% of the traffic was from there. What surprises me is that I don't see the US in the top. They are somewhere down at the 7th place. There is Japan too, apparently. They buy such in these Asian countries.
But if we talk about spends, it will probably be in second place after Hong Kong. Can you show another creative from these guys, not just the first one, but the second one as well? Are they exactly the same or different? Because in the others, I see something different. Like in 44, there is completely different gameplay.
What's most interesting, you see, there are no additional visual effects here. Usually they like to add visual effects to such games in the creatives to boost the visual effect for the viewer. So no, everything is purely on gameplay.
Are the gameplays different or is it misleading?
It's definitely misleading. Well, actually, it's a fact. It's all misleading.
Let's look at the competitors. Here, Voodoo. Here we will see a very interesting picture. It is immediately clear that they buy very well in the US. Immediately, Tier 3 countries, which also perform very well, I would say a classic purchase. And here is a very interesting situation. I reviewed them yesterday. Look, Facebook, Mintegral, there are some Google ads, Interactive. This is a new network. I have seen it quite often lately, Aplovin. And you see they tried different networks for themselves, probably looking for economic convergence. But I want to take a longer period. That is, they have been trying to enter different networks for more than a year, or rather this whole year. And importantly, HTML is already being added here, and I definitely saw misleading ones. We will get to them now. Let's look at the first top creative. I really like the visual here, the bright character with everything around in black and white tones. It looks very cool in my opinion. It's unobtrusive, it doesn't add any visual effect. Here's an ad on Mintegral. And immediately a short playable, if I click here, it will load for a long time, but a short playable is added right away. And let's see where I saw it. This one probably. You see right away where there is no picture, where I have a white field on the right. These are purely playables. They are just in Aplovin and Mintegral. And also note that there are no extra inscriptions, nothing, not even an end card at the end. This one I think I saw. Short ones you see are most likely from YouTube, about 5 seconds long, which is also very common. Very short videos with a playable end card added. Here's the UGC, user-generated content one I also want to show.
If you beat my high score, I will give you $100. Scared. You're scared? Oh, you're looking a little shaky. I don't know if it's looking too hot for you though.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just holding down the button.
For me.
Oh, I can move it. Okay.
I think it'd probably be best if you don't You just keep it still.
I don't actually trust you.
I don't believe I beat it.
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't beat it.
But
you did good.
yeah.
Not good enough. Right?
I really liked it. Unobtrusive. Visually, the picture is beautiful. In previous episodes, we looked at some UGC and they were very different in structure. So, what can I say? Competitors have gameplay creatives, and in previous ones, we have misleads. Such games work very well on playables because you can shoot and watch. Traffic acquisition, as you can see, is not only on Google and Facebook. You can also buy in other networks, in video networks like Mintegral, Uplovin, Unity, and so on. If we talk about markets, probably the main market is the US, but others like Brazil, Japan, in previous creatives, we saw that they also work on the RU market, so such games can be bought. The main thing here is to set up monetization correctly, but Oleg will tell you more about that. Maybe the guys have some questions for me. We will beautifully finish this part. I just smoothly led to what you will tell next. Alexei, do you have any questions?
I have a bit of a newbie question because I'm not very familiar with ASO and all that, but you said that a banner is bad. What do you mean? Is it considered bad practice? As I understand, it is usually present in simple games, but that's what I've seen so far.
I didn't say that a banner is bad. I said that a banner will not generate enough revenue per user for you. And this is just part of monetization, that it will be a small percentage of additional user monetization through the banner. But at the same time, depending on how it is placed in your game, and usually banners are placed at the bottom. If it's a small banner and it's quite clickable, it annoys the user and statistically reduces retention. But again, you need to look at your metrics.
I would add that any advertisement reduces retention. If we say that any in-app theoretically increases engagement because if a person has already invested their money, they will likely continue to play this game for some time. They think, am I a fool to quit now after spending money? No, I should enjoy it. If we talk about advertising, and here I have something to say about it, with your permission, I will share my screen with your picture. We see cohort analyses like your attention, your engagement time, and what do we see? Here I agree. Here and here probably showing interstitial ads is not worth it. But starting from here, all these users definitely need to be monetized using interstitial ads. Especially, or rather primarily, those who do not make purchases. Those who do make purchases should even be given rewards. How? There is such a thing called a skippable ticket. Yes, so if a person wants to play and doesn't want to watch rewards, give them this opportunity. Sell them these tickets, 100 tickets, or 10 tickets for $1, 20 tickets for $1. This needs to be looked at based on CPM. And so that this client uses skippable tickets instead of watching rewards. But I repeat, if our average time in the game is 1 hour 40 minutes, then within the first 30 minutes, we should already understand whether this user has made a purchase or not. And if they are not monetizing, then naturally we need to push them with interstitial ads. As for your ads, if I remember correctly, you currently have just something, and I think it's just something. It's only AdMob, right? When you have only one network, even if it's Google, it's one of the worst cases for ad monetization. What happens? Every network has an algorithm. This network sees how often it wins the auction. If it constantly wins the auction, it will lower its bids. It feels like a monopolist, and there is no point in selling you ads for $20 when it can sell them to you for $10. Therefore, one network without mediation is bad in absolutely any case. In any case, all networks should feel competition. The win rate of any network in my mind should not exceed 30 to 35%. If one network takes more than 50-60%, it is likely the mediator network, and it distributes what and how it happened. This is the second point. The third point. I don't remember, or rather it seemed to me that I didn't see user consent from you. Do you have a request for personalized ad display at the first launch? Probably something is wrong because I didn't see it in Cyprus, and as Cyprus is part of the EU, I should have seen it. I saw on iOS.
On iOS?
On Android.
Interesting.
Maybe I didn't pay attention, but it's worth paying attention to now. Personalized advertising is very important. I'll check now. Do you have APTXT specified or not? This is also basic. This definitely needs to be worked on. Just adding 10 networks to the ads. You can use CAS.AI, you can use AppDeal or Applovin. It will simply boost ad revenue by 40, 50, 60%. And in your game, it could be even twice as much.
In what volume of users?
It doesn't matter. Conditionally, it matters, but if you give it to 50 or 100 people, it should already perform. The point is that in your game, from what I see, you can already start buying. You need to refine monetization somewhere, conduct a couple of tests, and you can get numbers quite comparable to the figures because the game turned out really great. We had rocket science, which needs to be bought at a profit. Guys, don't buy at a loss, buy at a profit. But we did follow one of their recommendations. Guys, make good games. You definitely succeeded in that. This game, I can definitely say, is a good game. How to make it commercially successful, well, that's something that still needs work.